Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 20?
Yes.
Day 20. These are the midway point of the meet today and tomorrow. It is Talking Horses. He's Greg Wolf. I'm Andy Serling. It's a glorious day. Looking forward to a glorious week of racing here in Saratoga.
Will be tremendous. Yeah, after today, it's the official midway point of the meet, and we'll see if things change second half. But incredible start to this meet for a few people. Certainly some of the big stories, Ricardo Santana Jr., even Kendrick Carmouche.
Kendrick's having a great
Saratoga.
meet. I agree. Great meet. I saw him a little bit earlier. Yeah, he really is. A lot of people riding well up in Saratoga, and I agree. Ricardo, obviously. And I mean, I don't. The problem is you end up taking Irad Ortiz for granted sometimes because he rides so well. And his brother also is riding as well as I've seen him ride. I mean, he's obviously a great rider, but I've seen him riding. Flavian's picking it up a little bit as well. But yeah, it's been a great meet so far. Terrific racing. Obviously, the Whitney weekend. I mean, Whitney Saturday. I don't think you could ask for a more perfect day at the racetrack.
Incredible racing, stars coming out, horses showing up, and the weather was incredible. The crowd was incredible, 43,000 plus, I believe, and you felt that energy. I mean, that's one of the great days the entire year anywhere in the game, and it lived up to it.
No, I agree. I agree. It was a great, fun weekend. We got a lot more to go. As we said, 21 racing days still left here in Saratoga, and we'll head over to NYRA Bets. Use the promo code SPA200. We'll match you with $200 of your initial deposit. Play through NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Play through NYRA Bets. $10 bonus. 50 or more here and Delaware Park. Greg had a big week in the kids. Take the kids down to Delaware Park?
They've not been there yet, no.
They've not been there yet? It'll happen eventually. Hey, you're fairly close living in Brooklyn. It makes it easier to drive there. Have you been there? You've been to a lot of racetracks around the world.
No, that is one that I've never. I actually would love to go there.
Well, I'm game for a trip in September if you want to go on some Monday or Tuesday, whenever they race, on a beautiful day. See if that happens. Bring the kids, actually. It'd be fun. All right, what else do we have? Laura may object to that. You may want to have the kids around me that long. Laura might have a problem with that.
Anytime the kids are out of her hair, she'd be up.
Okay, should we go for that?
It, yeah.
Friday, August 8th, this Friday, the pennant giveaway. While supplies last, want to get that pennant. You want to complete your Saratoga 2000.
But you'd be on the pennant. Or wait, is that you?
I don't want to. No, I don't want to be on those. You know, like they talk about the bobbleheads and the bobbleheads. I don't want to walk the parking lot and see all my bobbleheads smashed on the ground. You know, I can only take so much. What else do we have? We haven't done a bobblehead in a long time, actually. 1 to 6 o'clock today, covering our 9-race card, which does not include a steeplechase race. The first Wednesday we have not had one, but we're going 1 mile and 1/8 to start it out, and I'm going to start by showing Castle Island, the 2, who I don't know, was he the morning line favorite? This is his race 2 back before meeting Bermudo. How do you feel about his prospects to wire this field? I am bearish on that prospect.
Yeah, I actually like him in here. I picked him in here. You know, that last race was just way too tough. When he was in against Bermudo's way too good. Society Man actually was in the Derby last year and second in the Wood. This is class relief, but there are some other droppers. But he's got the race 2 back, the race 4 back, the race 6 back. That they're all, even though I know there's some good horses near facing better, they're better than what most anyone has been able to produce.
I get that. I don't trust this horse at all.
I don't trust anyone in here.
That's fair. We'll show Swaggish, who you have third and I have third. He did run extremely well last time. And, you know, this is a race where we have some barns that have been struggling a bit at this meet. And I think that's important to note. And this is one of them. But Swaggish did run extremely well. And you'd have to think after that effort, he's the one who's going to be stalking the 2 Castle Island.
And for me, I like this performance from him a little bit, too, because this was the first time really going this distance on the dirt.
I agree.
Stretching out, most of his dirt races were sprints. He hung in there. And Margin of Error is actually a pretty good horse that came and got him. He's a 12-time winner. He is going to be carrying 5 pounds more today against a lot of horses dropping in class. That might be a factor, which I don't love. But I think he's very interesting.
But to be fair, he's carrying 5 more pounds. This is not a criticism of Christopher Elliott. He's carrying 5 more pounds because he's got Jose Ortiz.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good, and it is a rider change. I like Costa Terra. I feel like he comes out of a much tougher race. I don't care what he did against Strategic Focus 2 races back. And I feel like the 2 trainers in here whose horses have been running the best have been OK Cantermachi and Joe Sharp. And I picked our horses 1-2. I don't totally trust Curlin's Malibu. He's a bit of a plotter in this race. Going to need the fall apart, but I can't the field race to fall apart. But I can't ignore how well he's done. And I'm going to go back. And Casa Terra worries me a little bit because he's not a frequent winner. Now David has him the 2-1 morning line favorite. I'm not betting Casa Terra at 2-1. Obviously, it's very early in the wagering. If he ends up in a 3-1 or a little more, I have no problem betting him. I'm going to focus in though on the 3 and 4 in this race.
Yeah, for me, Curlin's Malibu and Joe Sharp on this incredible role.
But he's winning with horses that make sense.
Yeah.
It's not like he's winning with horses you go, wow, where'd
Well,
that
he's got
race
a lot
came
of horses
from.
that make sense.
Right. But I don't think he's doing anything out there where you're going, geez, I didn't see that performance. With Joe's horses are running to their running the way they should.
I don't think this horse at a mile and an eighth is what this horse is best at.
Okay.
And that's why I wound up picking against.
Fair enough. See what happens in race
Tough
number
race,
1. It is a tough race. I don't think race 2 is that easy. And I'm curious about race 2. I agree with David. I think this horse, and we're going to show a rare turf video in a dirt race with Summer World, I think he's the favorite in this race, not only because he's got the better races, he's got plenty of dirt pedigree. Arrogate's a lousy turf stallion, and he's a much, much better dirt stallion. So I think he's going to handle it, but you have to ask yourself, why has Graham Motion never run him on this surface before? And I feel like he could end up being very short in here.
Well, there's probably a reason. The Graham Motion, one of the best trainers in our sport, has never put him on the dirt. But, everyone in here has issues. And, this horse just has faster races. And if the horse could just run close to what she has shown on dirt, it's going to be very tough. Likes the distance, that shouldn't be a problem. The Dam actually was a 2-time winner routing on the dirt as well. So, there's a lot of reasons to sort of get behind this one, including the fact that, the one we both picked on top just cannot get out of the gate.
I agree. Now, I'm not going to show the start of the last race, and she's broken better for Linda. But she's not breaking 5 lengths behind the field, but she is breaking a length and a half to 2 behind the field. And we'll show Royal Bobby. I thought Royal Bobby ran well. This is 2 races back, the last dirt race, and Sweet Anniversary ends up sort of caving at the end. And while Sweet Anniversary ran well in here, I don't trust her trying to get a mile and an eighth in this race. And I think that with Royal Bobby, because of breaking like that, I thought Jose did the right thing with her. But I think one sustained late run, and I believe in this horse, as do you.
I'm not going to say believe.
I would rather bet her at a better price than Summer World because I know she can run in the dirt. And I don't know that Summer World can run in the dirt.
She's putting blinkers. We're talking about the 3. She's putting blinkers back on today. She actually ran on blinkers in her debut. I'm going to forgive that performance because it was her debut. But she got declared a non-starter, and she just sat there in the gate. I don't know if blinkers is actually going to help this horse be a little more forward today because they didn't help in the debut. She's just terrible out of the gate. But I do like the fact that you saw her making that run at Sweet Anniversary. I felt if Sweet Anniversary was going to win, 2 sprints stretching out, that was the day she was going to do it. She didn't win.
I agree. I'm going to go with her as well. Obviously, it's not a super strong opinion. My friend David likes the 1, Kara's Dreamweaver. That's David Aragona. I'm not sure I trust this horse getting a mile and an eighth, but I respect David's opinion a lot.
I didn't
You're obviously not a fan. I had her 4th. We'll see what happens in race number 2. Race number 3. I thought race number 3 could be an opportunity, and I thought it was a very, very tricky race. We're going to go back and look at Mersal winning 4 races back, and I think it's fair to say that Mersal has been running over her head. Yes. But she also is not lifting a hoof in her recent efforts. And this is a race that does not have a lot of form. You are clearly going to try to wire the field with Follow Your Arrow. You're going in that direction. I am not.
Yeah, look, I have my issues with Mersal as well. I think the form may have just left her, even though she's taken that big drop down in class.
I have my issues with all of them.
Yeah, no,
including your horse.
For Follow Your Arrow, it's pretty simple. Get to the lead. I think she's the speed of the speed in this field. It's second back off, 3-month layoff for her. And the field she went against, she's also 2 for 2 at the distance, by the way, but she's dropping in class. The field she faced last start, she's a little edgy, is a 14-time winner who's actually won 4 of her last 9 starts. Killy's Start would win 2 starts later for $20,000. It's just a better group in here. I think she can get brave on the front end, and I think she can keep on going.
I get your reasoning, and you may very well be right with her. I don't trust her getting 7 furlongs. I wonder if Sister Supreme on the inside with Lane Luzzy. I think Lane's going to look to go. I don't think she's as fast as her, but I think she might provide a little bit of pressure on her, and I simply don't trust Follow Your Arrow, who's a horse who most of her good races were with the benefit of a bias. However, I think your points are very valid, and this is a kind of crazy race. And listen, I'm taking a horse that's probably even crazier than her in the 6 Like a Rolling Stone. And my feeling Like a Rolling Stone is she has been running way over her head since being claimed by Antonio Arriaga. And she even came back and won at 43-1 in her first start off the claim. And then he's putting her in, an allowance race, the Critical Eye, $40,000 claiming race. Look at the kind of prices she's been. She is taking a realistic drop down. She was claimed for $10,000. This is ultimately where she belongs. And I'm just hoping, because another thing I think about this race is Jackie the Joker is a little bit interesting. And Jackie the Joker is only run well when she's forward. And with Ricardo Santana, I wonder if you're going to see her be a little bit more forward in this race as well, because the good races from Jackie the Joker are forward, and I wonder if this is a race where the pace might be a little bit stronger than it looks on paper.
Yeah, it could be. It certainly could be. I mean, Like a Rolling Stone, I'm just concerned, and she's interesting too. I'm
She's
just
a big
concerned
price.
all those races too. Does it's at some point, does it start to take a toll, and you say you just spent all her confidence?
I think it's very possible, but I also think when she gets in a field like this, it's a lot easier for her to be a player in here. And I looked at the drop down. Listen, you've got the 1 second in this race, Whistler Style. She's kind of logical in here, but man, she has absolutely no speed whatsoever, and that worries me.
Yeah.
But she might be
as
the
you
best horse in
said,
the race.
Yeah.
And there might be more hitting in here. She can certainly win. I guess at the end of the day, with the 1 and 3, I don't want to have them on top in here because I don't want to take the short prices in here because this feels like a race where you're supposed to get paid if you pick the winner.
Yeah, I preferred the 1A of the entry. So
I don't want any horses claimed away from my man, Dennis Lalman. Race number 4. So let's talk about pace. And first we'll start by talking about Red Burgundy, who's the favorite in race 4. And I can see you took my horse, Latest Edition, in here?
I did.
Okay, so you have really lost your mind. Apparently the kids have made you crazy.
That's what you said to me the other day last week.
No,
Yeah,
you had a
she
great
did.
case with that horse. No, I agree with your case in that horse. I didn't say you had. I thought everything you said was very logical about that horse. That the DePaz claimed? No, I thought that was a great pick. And when you were talking, you were selling me on the horse. Not smart enough to use her because I like the second horse. The problem with Red Burgundy is, and we can go right to the replay on Slightly Busy winning on April 24th, between the horse you have on top and Slightly Busy, there's going to be pace in this race. And I don't trust Red Burgundy without the lead, and I'm not sure Slightly Busy, who ran very well with a good trip in this race, I don't know if I trust her going a mile.
Slightly Busy is very interesting.
She is.
First time going beyond 6 furlongs sprinting on the grass, and the only time she went long, it was on a dirt, came off on a sloppy slow track, and actually won with a very slow figure on the surface she doesn't want to be on. So yeah, Slightly Busy to me is definitely interesting.
But what is she going to do with the pace? I mean, isn't the horse you pick going to go?
The 7's going to be in front. That's the reason. If the 7's not in front, I don't know why the 7's in the race. So
I bet her last time. I'm done.
For me, with Latest Edition, she actually did break her maiden at a mile. I know it was via DQ, but she was second beat a nose that day, and she got elevated. She actually did run second at a mile and a 16th, very good, and a much softer group a long time ago. But she's shown ability routing. She is, to me, the speed of the speed. It is the third off a short layoff. And Shoot It True, pretty good turf debut for Wesley Ward when she ran an 80 Beyer.
Awful in here. I bet her last time. She was awful.
That's fine. And I want her to go longer anyway. And I think that against that group, this is one where she could get brave out in front. And I look at her last 4 numbers, her last 4 figures actually on the grass. And yes, they're sprinting. But for me, Brock Nardine is a very probably likely winner of this race.
Really?
To me, I think. All 4 of her last numbers on grass sprinting matched the career best figure of Brock Nardini. To me, that was incredibly intriguing. And now a chance to go long being in front on the lead.
Okay, she's a big price. I don't like her. I bet her last time. I respect it. I think this race is going to be won by a closer. And I'm not sure that I see what the big difference is between Brock Nardini, Snowy Evening, Bobby Emsgerl, and Burn Again if they all run their good races coming from behind. And I want to take the one that projects to be the biggest price. Now, except for Burn Again. She's 12-1. I don't think I've ever picked my friend Steve Chris' horse, Snowy Evening. But I think you look at her races, she's not a sprinter. She made up some ground in a race that held up together on the front end. Being Betty was the controlling speed. It was a good rail. She was wide. You go back to that Spinning Colors race. A lot of people, and rightfully so, are talking about Bobby Emsgerl and with the no-shot trip last time out in the Mount Vernon, that's fine. Except Snowy Evening finished a half length behind her and had a worse trip. So I don't know exactly why I'm supposed to take Bobby M's girl at 9-2 as opposed to Snowy Evening at 8-1. So I am betting Snowy Evening in this race, and you and I are on opposite sides of the fence. You think the pace is going to hold together. I think the pace is going to fall apart. One thing we both agree on, we don't want the short price on Red Burgundy.
Not at all. Not at all, because she needs to be forward in here, and she's not remotely close to being the speed in this race. I'll just go back quickly to Brock Nardini and why I think she's going to be tough in here.
I think her second, by the way. I'm not in disagreement with you. I think she's the horse to beat.
She has so much upside in this spot. She got sandwiched at the start of that gate in a comeback effort off a long time away. And she still ran a very good figure for what she's run in the past. I think she moves forward off that her first in 8 months. She gets Lasix on this afternoon. Pratt, and she gets inside post, too. She's already where she wants to be from that inside position.
No argument with any of that. I think it's very logical. Speaking of Flavien, of course, was disqualified last week. We did a stewards review this morning talking about the disqualification. Also, Andrew Offerman, the Senior Vice President of Racing and Operations here, came on and was talking about different rules around the country on the segment that is being worked on by our crack staff. And Matt did a great job with that as well, and we'll be getting that out pretty soon, and I'll be tweeting that out, talking about the disqualification last week. And we do appreciate both Cody Watkins and Victor Escobar coming in and talking about the disqualifications. Race number 5, the only race that had a couple of scratches. I don't know if they affected you. I think you and I are on the same page in this race where there's 3 horses we could play. Let's start with Best Impression, the horse that I have on top, you have second. It's coming out of that race on July 10th. Why I think she's the horse to beat out of that race is because this was a race that was falling apart at the end. And she ran very well being forward in here, putting away any of the other speeds that collapsed. She goes to Linda Rice, which obviously never a bad switch. And I just think Best Impression might be better than these horses.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance she might be right in this spot, too. And, some of the others, they are not up to this level. They've been at this level. They've struggled. Even for Lollipops, you say she's coming out of a 32 claiming race. That was strictly against 3-year-olds. She's actually facing older in here, so I think it's a tougher spot for her, and there's other speed in the race. Best Impression ran good against Value Area. I know it was the debut of her career, but she has some efforts to me that I think she can sit, she can track, and it works out nicely for her, and she has the better races. But another cliche, I think it's going to be tough from the inside.
She's very interesting, but go ahead. I agree. I picked her second.
Third off the bench for her this afternoon. She wins the debut here at Saratoga, and then she's put in against might be one of the best 3-year-old fillies, might be the best 3-year-old filly after what we saw on the Coaching Club American Oaks. In the second set.
Right.
What a performance from Scottish Lassie.
I agree. The Alabama's going to be a great race this year. Best Alabamas we've had in years.
I'm not sure if she's running in that race.
Scottish Lassie?
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing, but I don't know if I don't know. I just haven't heard. We'll see.
That would be crazy.
She's just faced so much better company. Low key for Tom Amoss, one of his 4 wins at the meet. Much better group that she's going to deal with. She's got tactical speed from that inside slot, and it's a massive drop in class for her today.
You get no argument from me. She is definitely a player in this race, as is Lollipops. And we'll take a look at Lollipops winning 2 races back. I don't have a big problem with Lollipops, but I agree with what you said. Even though she's dropping down at her last race, those were restricted 3-year-olds she was running against last time out. So it's not really a drop down. I think it looks like a drop down, but it's not. And these are older horses, and I feel like the 1 and 8 are both a little bit better than she is, but she obviously can win.
Lollipops for you. Did you like it all? I just thought
we're talking about Lollipops. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just feel the presence of the 7 is going to make it difficult for her, don't you?
Because of speed in here? Well, she's outside of her. I didn't even look at the pace director. Actually, is the fastest of the speeds. We'll see if that's the case. I just feel like she's running against better horses in both the 8 and 1, particularly the 8 that she's been running against.
Okay.
Coming out of a straight 3-year-old race, I think makes her look better. And Callie Storm not very good, so I just didn't love the races. But she's
not a race to reach. I didn't feel. This didn't feel like.
No, I'm going to be surprised if anybody else wins this race. We'll see what happens. Race 5. We'll take a break. We'll be back with the late pick 5. Actually, late pick 4. That started late pick 5.
NyraBets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NyraBets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Greg Wolf and Andy Serling. Race number 6, 5.5 on the turf. See what I got here. Let's talk about Devilish Grin and Great Actress, who ran 2-3 in a maiden race on closing day at Aqueduct. I preferred Great Actress, who finished third out of this race. I thought that she made the earlier move in this race, out there trying to win, whereas Devilish Grin was sitting a perfect trip and picking up the pieces for second. I want Devilish Grin much more. I'm sorry, I want Great Actress much more than Devilish Grin. I don't know where you went.
No, I completely agree with you. I have her on top two for the exact same reason. She's the one she made this big, bold move to go after the lone leader, Nacho Problem, and try and actually win the race. And for me, Devilish Grin was just, picking up pieces down there on the inside in the stretch. This was the one who made that big move to try and win it. And I love the performance. She had every reason to kind of back up a little bit. And I think second start, she's going to be that much tougher.
You've got the one Winrooski for my man Fernando Abreu on the inside trying the turf. I wish I saw more turf pedigree. What's the deal here?
So, first off, win for me. This was a while ago. Actually won the Manila on the turf.
You really want to bring this up?
What's
You're
that?
really bringing up the Forgo and GB Complexity? You're really doing that to me?
I
I
don't.
thought you were my friend.
Okay, well.
No, we can talk about it. He won one of the craziest races of all time, which some people know.
I don't understand why more people didn't see it going in, because he had so much trouble against Complexity the start before, and sort of everyone just kind of dismissed him. He had a brutal trip that day, and he went off around 790, I think.
Well, he just got left in a driving rain. They ran that Forgo in a driving rainstorm during the pandemic.
So there was
and
so
he
many
made a
reasons
crazy
to like
move
him for
beat
me that day. I had a
Complexity.
huge day with him. I loved him that day, and he was coming into the race so
shut
good
up.
too.
No.
Sorry. Dan produced.
Win was a very cool horse. I mean, you're right. That Manila win was. He beat Casa Creed in there.
Did he?
I think he beat Fago War and Casa Creed.
Wow.
If Stabile's watching, he'll text me because that was. I think he liked Casa Creed. Anyway, but yes, I think that was the race.
Dan produced a horse who ran an 83 and an 80 buyer in the grass, who was a 4-time winner on synthetic. Also produced a multiple winner on turf sprinting, who was also stakes placed as well. So there is turf pedigree.
Yep.
This horse, at least minor dirt speed from the rail, and if the horse could take the turf at all in this spot, I think it's going to be dangerous with that pedigree.
Okay, that's more than fair. I did not see her, but I think David likes her, Aragona. I have the Joe Sharp horse, the 9 Oscars Encore, second here. Joe does not have great numbers in 2-year-old turf sprints with first-time starters. I love Oscar performances, though. And I thought this horse's 10 and 5th workout was okay at the 2-year-old sale and looking at it. Other horses to talk about. You have Devilish Grin third. I'm just going to go with the 10's going to beat Devilish Grin, and that's my thing. I have Delver in there. I love the Cantheros.
Yeah.
I love Cantheros.
14%
Yep.
in turf sprints.
You have Picasso.
I thought Picasso was interesting. The Dam was Group 3 place, and then her career kind of came to an end because of injuries, so we never got to see actually how good she could be. Did produce the first out winner on synthetic, so there's some win early pedigree there, too.
All right, we'll see what happens in race number 6. The 2-year-old's going 5.5 on the turf. Race 7 is the feature of the Birdstone. And I actually think this is one of the more competitive Birdstones we've had.
Yes.
And not that, we appreciate Next, but without Next in the race, you have a competitive race where a number of horses that can win. And as we start and look at Parchment Party, I mean, the first question of the race is, can Parchment Party run this race back on a dry track? If he does, he's a cinch.
It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the huge question. You have no idea. And is it the distance, too, that sort of moved this horse forward at 1 3/4 miles? And he's going to, you would think, he's going to get a little bit of pace set up this afternoon, which has been a problem for him in some of his races.
No problem in this race.
No. This was a tour de force.
Yep.
Think he's going to the Melbourne Cup? I'm kidding.
Probably not.
It was a win in your
end.
If
they take
came
it off the
the
turf,
grass,
though,
yeah.
if they'll let him know
It was
beforehand, they're going to run
but
it.
he's faced good company, too. I mean, look, Just a Touch, who was third in the Met Mile. You liked him in that race, didn't you, Just a Touch, that day? Or no, you liked Raging Torrent.
No, I like Raging Torrent.
A horse who had been second in the Bluegrass last year, Gould's Gold
Oh,
Stakes
he's a
winner.
good horse, and I think Bill saw that. Listen, one thing we know, he improved going long. I just wish he was on a dry track.
I do too. It's a huge question.
I have no problem with him, but
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but
I would say because of that, because of the wet track too, isn't 7-5 a little too short to play that guessing game?
I don't know. Is it a coin flip? If you think it's a coin flip, then 7-5 is a good price because I feel like you do. If he runs that race, if somebody said it wasn't, I know for sure it wasn't the wet track, I'd bet him at 4-5 in this race, honestly, because I just think he's kind of a cinch based on that race. Now, you've got the other proven route horses in this race. You've got Lambeth. You've got Game Warden coming out of the Temperance Hill. As we take a look at that race coming from Oaklawn, I prefer Game Warden out of that race. I thought he ran better in the subsequent start, and I wonder if Lambeth's tailed off a little bit since that race. Though, to be fair, the last race is a turf race, though I prefer of the two of them Game Warden. Roy Mann, Norm Cassie.
Yeah, and it's a little concerning Lambeth, too, that, that next mile-and-a-half race, too.
Was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bothered me a little bit, and I wondered if the horse just stepped up in this race, and we're not going to see that kind of performance. So for the 3, but the horse you have second in here, Digital Ops, that's where I'm going. I think this is a very smart move by Saffie Joseph because Digital Ops is just okay. He is who he is. But what he is a horse that can be good when he's on the lead. And listen, this was a very fast race with Malarchuk. They beat the rest of the field by a city block. And one thing is for sure with Digital Ops, as long as nothing happens at the gate, he's going to be in front.
Yes.
He's fast.
Yes.
And Irad knows that he's a horse that needs to be forward. And I think he's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. Now, do I trust him getting a mile and 3/4? No. But I feel like this is a great move by Saffie because I think this is the kind of horse you want to run long in these races because he has a chance to just get comfortable galloping along on the front end. And he's not untalented. He's not beating the 2 if the 2 runs his last race. But if he doesn't, I think he has a chance to do it.
But, too, if he gets loose in here, too, he wanted a mile and 3/16.
Somebody wants to run with him and them here, they're out of their minds.
Yeah, he may just love it. He's very interesting in this race. To me, he was the other one.
Yeah. I'm going to basically use 2s and 6s. I could use the 3 as like a C or something, but I'm basically leaning on the 2 and 6. In the Birdstone, I love Birdstone. I think Birdstone is unfairly sort of, not maligned, but underappreciated because so many people were so disappointed when he beat Smarty Jones. I mean, his Travers was one of the great races, and he was a very, very good horse. And I always sorry that it rained before that Derby because it's nothing against Smarty Jones, but I felt like, at least he showed up, as did Lionheart. Besides Lionheart and Smarty Jones, like nobody else showed up. And there were some good horses in that race.
I loved Lionheart. He was so game.
He was a good horse, yeah, he really
was.
was.
Such a game horse.
It's funny. I remember I used to hang out a lot with Patrick Biancone at Belmont. We both smoked. I've given up smoking for a long time. And we would talk, and I remember sitting with him in like October at Belmont. We were sitting out in the boxes, and I asked him if he had any good 2-year-olds, and he said, I got one I'm going to run at Hollywood Park. It's really good. And I was really more just kibitzing. I'm not trying to bet them. And I noticed later he ran Lionheart at Hollywood Park, and he broke his maiden. That was the horse he was talking about. I miss seeing Patrick. Race number 8. I thought this was a very, very interesting race. And I'm going to start by saying you and I have the same opinion in here. We don't want any part of the 3 So Darn Pretty. Now, she's 6-1 in the line. So maybe she won't take a lot of money, but I'm going to show her because I think a lot of people see, Bintel Dandy, who was out of that race, ran very well to be second here. Robbie Falcone thinks he won. Yeah. Robbie, I bet the winner of the race. I cashed. You didn't, but I can understand why Robbie was frustrated. And I tease. I like Robbie a lot. I think he's an excellent trainer. And also, we saw Chad's horse come out of that race. But this horse took advantage of the bias. She was allowed to roll along on the front end on the gold rail, and I don't want her coming back in this race. Also, because I think there's other speed, particularly with the 6, Atara.
Yes, who showed it last time out. And Will Walden's horses, he's had some that are just running out of their skin.
Horses are running great.
Yeah.
Consistently run well.
I had those same concerns. Look, do you want to start with the 8? Notable Exchange, to me, that was a big effort last start.
I don't have any problem starting wherever you want. I do want to talk about Midway Memories. See,
okay.
I think Midway Memories is the horse to beat in here, not Griselda, because she has form, and we'll go back to her win 2 races back. And, last time out, she was chasing outside. The rail was good. They were better horses. I don't want to hold that race against her. And I think Chad's looking at a more realistic spot. What I want to say about Griselda is I actually looked something up. At Saratoga, 4-inch shippers in turf routes, Chad Brown's only 1 for 10 with 2 hitting the board over the last 5 years. We're used to him doing really well with these horses. They haven't won here. One thing I also want to point out about Griselda, for those looking at the daily racing form, the comment is led after 2 furlongs, asked 2.5 out, but always in command. You might want to ask yourself, will she finish second? That's the running line for the winner of the race. Her running line actually is she came from 7th of 8 horses and made a big run. And I actually think she ran very well in there because she was making a run and nobody else was closing. It was a very heavy course, so I wonder if she's a horse that'll be as good, but she gets Lasix here. But I just want to point out, I don't think it really matters. She still finished second. That was not a running line. She does not have speed unless she finds different speed over here.
Yeah.
Just about
They're
her.
both interesting.
Talk about Soldoro, who you picked on top.
Soldoro, Miguel Clement is having a terrific meet.
He is.
First three starts were at Gulfstream. The horse who won that race, Starship Impulsive, has won 3 in a row. She did it on the lead. She's won 2 stakes. And for Soldoro, she was wide early, 3 wide early. She had to make a wide move around the turn. And she actually put in a really good move, I thought. Showed a good turn of foot in the stretch where I think cutting back to a mile, that's going to be a more potent kick, and she actually can finish better. I like the move, the cut back from a mile and a 16th to a mile today.
Okay. Listen, I'm not going to knock anybody from that barn. As far as notable exchange, you said the same thing I do. First of all, this is a switch to Ricardo Santana, so it's already a very good rider switch. And I was watching her races. That race on July 19th, she was outside. The rail was the place to be. I thought she ran well in there. I actually thought she ran well in the Boiling Spring where she saved ground, but she made a big wide in there and ran okay. I just feel like she's going to get completely lost. She's the longest shot on the board at 12-1, and I don't see any evidence that she's not as fast as anybody in this race, and she's going to be a price, and it's getting a big rider change to Ricardo. I thought she made a lot of sense in here, and you obviously don't disagree.
Her figure in that last race is quicker than what anyone has in the field, thoroughgraph-wise.
Okay. No, I think she fits well. I was looking at Duboff a little bit, a horse you and I left out. She did run a fast race last time, but I got to tell you, these are just better horses than she ran against. But she did run well last time.
It was non-winners at 2 life, 35 claiming.
Right.
Yeah, I want to see it against better.
I want to see it against
but
better horses.
Definitely interesting, and that was off the bench, too.
I think our point is don't just default to Chad Brown here.
Yeah.
He might run 1-2. Both of them are live, but I don't want to just default to his horses in this race. I want to take somebody else. I'm looking forward to race number 9, the other division of the New York State Breds going 5.5 furlongs. And I want to show some of our rest my case. So you have second, I have on top's last race. I want to show the pan and the head-on of the start. This is number 5 horse, and you'll see that she breaks a little bit slow there and sort of drops back a bit. Well, hit gate start, I don't know that it was about hitting the gate as much as you're going to see it. She gets absolutely slammed coming out of the gate. And here, the number 5. I mean, she hit May at the gate, but watch that. Bang! They come over on her hard. And she really got knocked off. And watch the race finishing. She broke slow. She's 3 wide. The race was won wire to wire. And you could say she was picking up some pieces. I thought she ran very well first time out. And I think this is a horse Bill Motto got bet first time that's going to run very well today.
I agree with you. Look, this is the same race as the Devilish Grin Great Actress race. It's going to happen earlier on the card where they finished 2-3 in that spot. I just thought a ton of upside off a very tough debut where that could have taken a lot of out of her, as you saw out of the gate. So, yeah, I nearly put her on top. In the end, for me, another one who had problems first time out. And for George Weaver, who's so good with his 2-year-olds.
Bridges Cross. Well, she broke 2 or 3 lengths behind the field in there. I wonder how good that race was. That was my concern. I've got her right up there as well, so I'm with you. I'm not.
It was a horrible start. I love Leinster, too. Leinster was a multiple graded stakes winner on the grass. Won the Troy with a 109 Beyer. I was such a fan of him during his day. And by the way, he beat Disco Partner and Pure Sensation stablemates for Clement in that race.
I love Pure Sensation the most. I had such love for him. But Disco Partner was obviously a super sprinter. Obviously, I saw those things. I just don't know how good that race was. That was my only concern.
But look, it was a debut. Terrible start. Has every reason to say that's a throwout race in a barn that's incredibly dangerous. So to me, and he's 2 for 7, by the way. Leinster with his Turf Sprinter so far, limited sample, but has already produced a couple of winners. The Dam did produce a horse, not a superstar, but a horse who was 3 for 3 on the turf one more time around, and apparently a strong turf drill as well. So I think we're going to see a very different St. Bridget's Cross today for start.
George Weaver's horses have been running great. I mean, you and I saw this race exactly the same, basically. The 4 Setting Sun, I mean, you can't ignore the pedigree, and you just can't ignore Miguel Clement. He ran that Turf Sprinter he won with here the other day, the first turf. Wow, that horse ran huge.
He's having such a great
He really is. And we saw the same thing with Banco de Cilia, because this horse, I mean, I don't like Central Bankers in the turf. He's 8%. I love Central Banker, and I love him on the turf. This is a big turf dam, and the really good horse from this dam was a Central Banker. So this cross, so this cross has produced a good turf horse. And I know it's Chris Englehart in a turf sprint, though he has a good sprinter in Warolo. But I can't leave this horse completely out with that pedigree. I've got to have
Nico's Dream was Saratoga, I believe, right?
Yes, it was. It was Barclay Tagg and Saratoga. I saw Jack Knowlton from Saratoga. I'm not sure who's stalking who, but Jack and I ran into each other in 2 completely separate random places around Saratoga over the weekend. It's like I was walking up Division Street. I was going to get my hair cut, and I'm like, "You again, Jack?" And we were laughing. It's like I'd seen him on Monday. I'd run into him, but anyway, it's funny. Yes, it was Saratoga. Looking forward to the card today. Looking forward to the week. You were on late.
I am on early.
You're on early with me. Okay, you, me, the MIG.
Yes.
You, me, the MIG, and Ray Handel is going to be joining us. And I know you think I like Ray Handel. I plan to torture him.
Good.
I plan to really torture him. I had to get a haircut because I know Ray gets his haircut like every day, pretty much, so I had to look fresh for it. You ready?
That's nice, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
That's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. It is. It's going to be great. Thank you for watching. Head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPOT200, and we'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. We have the $10 bonus. You bet 50 or more here at Delaware Park. Opt in over at Naira Bets for that. Pennant giveaway Friday. Or check that out as well. And we are on from 1 to 6 on FS2. Frank Miramati, the voice of Saratoga, he's up next with a reprise of the Scratch and Changes. Enjoy as we get to the midpoint of the Saratoga meet. Day 20, a beautiful day.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.